Hello friends, my name is Ramsu. Today we shall discuss about a topic that what is alternative analysis. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in project management or you want to learn about this topic, alternative analysis. So let's start, friend. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well, so that my new videos can reach to you, and also you can follow me on the Facebook page as well. Friend, there is more than one way to skin a cat. That is the say you can reach the same outcome through different means. To discover those means, you can use an alternative analysis. An alternative analysis is how project managers choose how they are going to approach a project. There are always options, and knowing which is the best one for your project takes time, research, and understanding of possible scenarios. Alternative analysis is the evaluation of the various routes you can pursue to achieve the goal of a project or a particular project management objectives. It looks beyond the status quo to compare different ways of getting work done. These factors can be operational, such as cost, risk, and effectiveness, as well as the potential shortfalls of those operational factors. To perform an alternative analysis, you use tools such as life cycle costing, sensitivity analysis, cash flow analysis, and cost benefit analysis. Analysis of alternatives, also called the alternate AOA, is part of the decision making process when looking at existing portfolios, programs, and projects, or while initiating a new project. This decision making process helps you find cost effective actions and avoid unnecessary effort duplication. Use alternative analysis will help reduce the risk of project failure. When should alternative analysis be used in project management? Alternative analysis is used whenever a solution is needed. When decision makers are in the decision making process, they want to know the best course for moving forward. An alternative analysis will show them the way. Alternative analysis is typically done at the initiation of a project, but is also used throughout the life cycle of the project. It's one way to determine if the decision making process is sound. Making updates throughout the process will refine the solution and reaffirm the assessment criteria. However, alternative analysis is not something that's simple to do. Analysis is often time consuming because of the time and labor involved in alternative analysis. It's more likely that you will apply it to the portfolios or programs. These portfolios or programs are more of an ongoing concern than a single project, and managers are constantly on the lookout for ways to improve the cost effectiveness of the work. Whenever you use alternative analysis, you will need project management software to evaluate and choose the best course of action from a variety of options. So you can use any other software as well. Benefits of analysis of alternative analysis. Using analysis of alternatives will help the project, portfolio, and program managers identify, understand, and evaluate the alternatives open to them when managing a project. It will also help them to select the best course of action as it concerns project cost and risk. By looking at alternatives, decision makers have more data to make an informed choice with. Being able to identify, define, and understand a problem is the best way to solve it and is essential to any worthwhile analysis. When decision makers have many alternatives to choose from, they have more power to control the outcome, but the data must be good. Avoiding prejudice, such as paying more attention to information that is easy to access, is important as well. Now, how to execute an alternative analysis? Alternative analysis provides a framework to look at your process and seek out improvements that are of the greatest advantage to you. So, the steps are: first, make a plan. The first thing to do is make a plan. This means defining the various decisions that you can make to meet your objectives and achieve operational effectiveness. You will want to include stakeholders but also define the timing, effort, or cost involved. There will need to be a study team assembled and a study plan to direct their activities. Organize the analytic framework. The next step is to define the analysis problem statement, the context of the problem, scope, and a framework for alternative comparisons. This includes the comparison criteria you will use. Frame the analysis with the ground rules you will use, including any assumptions you might have before and during the study. You will want to access the data needs, collection, and sources used. Identify and define alternatives. Now you identify the various alternatives routes you can take from the data sources. There will be many, but be sure to keep one as the status quo. These alternatives will address the problem you stated in your plan within the context and scope you have already defined. The alternatives you evaluate must come out of through thorough research, vetting, and filtering before you can begin the decision making process. Assess the alternatives. Look over each of the alternatives you have come up with. Evaluate them against your established criteria such as cost, risk, life cycle cost, effectiveness, benefits, and likelihood analysis. You will also need to conduct a sensitivity analysis, which is a financial model that looks at a target variable and how it is impacted by changes from input variables. Compare the alternatives. Here you will weigh the pros and cons of the various alternatives you have identified. Determine what the merits of each are as shown by the analysis you have made. Report the results. Finally, you will want to document the results of the alternative analysis to show the life cycle cost that supports the alternatives or status quo you choose, and how that will support the project decision makers and stakeholder needs actually. Then there are few tips about alternative analysis. When managing a project, the alternative analysis should be part of your decision making. It lets you to find the best way forward. To do this, you will need to create a study plan. It will act as a roadmap for how your analysis should proceed and explain who is responsible for what. You can't do an alternative analysis without first devoting the time and resources needed. You need to give yourself enough time to look at the alternatives and determine the risk involved with each. Be sure to always have a baseline of your status quo in order to have something to compare your alternatives against. It might also prove that the status quo is the best approach. Often collecting baseline data is time consuming, so make sure you have scheduled enough time and resources to do it. So friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you, friends.